There we go. It's recording started. I just want to say, hello, welcome back, everybody. Hope you've all had a good summer. It certainly feels like a lifetime ago for me. But I wanted to welcome you all back to the AI user group. We've got a really great session for you today. We've been thinking about next sort of steps of sessions to do, and obviously that word comes to mind. So we went with Tableau next. It's been on a lot of our minds lately. We've been hearing a lot for Tableau, but we wanted to understand what it means for us as analysts, what it means for us as people that are trying to bring our AI to organizations in a practical way. And so we've got this theme for you today. This is our agenda. I've got a few events I want to shout out just before we get started. Then we'll be straight over to Paul to hear about Tableau next, what it can do for data analysts, and then we'll be over to Ojo for some AI applications. In terms of events that are coming up, I wanted to shout out the Tableau Next Hackathon. It has closed, sadly, but you can see there's been a ton of participants out there putting together different types of use cases for Tableau Next. So the idea was you submit a project in Tableau Next. Loads of people have entered. I think there's going to be some really good resources from this. I know a lot of colleagues I had in my company were putting together some really cool pieces of work. So we definitely want to keep an eye out. You can actually go on here and vote on projects. So giving you a little QR code here so you can go check that out, or go to the link of tableaudevpost.com. Voting is open until 6th of October, so you've got the weekend and a bit to go to have a look at that. But I bet there's some great work coming in here, and just keep an eye on this one for what comes out next. Our events coming up, obviously, yes, Dreamforce is on the horizon, less than 2 weeks to go. I'm sure we'll hear a lot more features, not much more what's coming down the pipeline in terms of the roadmaps for some of the AI projects we've got coming up, which should be really excited about. And more for me in the UK. We've got DFM Europe is coming up in early December sort of time, based in London again. It was a really good event last year. I had a good time with it. We've got a lot of sessions planned. We've got some training planned. It's going to be really good, I think, again. Really good community there as well. So those are some events for your calendar, but I don't want to hold up the show for too long. I want to get on to the good stuff, and that is Paul. So Paul, you've got yourselves a lovely presentation on Tableau Next. Can you take it away from me, please?
Yes, thank you very much, Will. And I will now share my screen. So a little bit about myself. So I'm a product manager for Tableau Next, and I will be presenting this Tableau Next for data analysts in a world of AI. What does it mean for us, analysts, especially when we're taking into account this world where we're going to have to deal with agents. So not everyone may know about Tableau Next, so I'm going to take a few minutes just to present what this new platform is about. Then talk about all of the different analytic agents that are participating in that new platform. Then we'll talk about how agents can help analysts scale. So we're evolving from a world where there's only dashboards. So how does these agents take into account, how can these agents help analysts really reach out to more business users? And finally, what is the new role of analysts? They will be helping agents ground themselves into providing more relevant answers, and we're going to discover some of the tools that we're providing as part of this new platform to help analysts do that new job. So a couple of slides on Tableau Next. What it is a new analytics platform that is directly embedded and integrated into the Salesforce platform. So as you can see, I like this slide because it shows all the different layers that we are building as part of this platform. At the very bottom, we've got the data layer, which is taken on by Data Cloud. This is a product that is directly part of the Salesforce platform, and is going to take care of all the data management aspects. Semantic layer. This one is important because it is the transition between the data and the business. So how to make data understandable by business users, by business, but also by agents. So adding all this rich metadata will help people better understand and leverage the data. Then we have a visualization layer on top of which you can create those charts, those dashboards. You'll have this very very known drag and drop experience as part of this visualization layer. And finally, an action layer. So we have a flow experience where you can directly tag or attach an action to a visualization so people can directly make a decision and act on it as they go. Now, on top of it, we've got all these different agents, Data Pro, Concierge, and Inspector. I'll go into the details of each one of them. A bit more detailed view of the whole platform. I wanted to show this slide mainly to explain that as part of the semantic layer, you're going to have these semantic models. Think of them as your published data sources. That would be the equivalent. So in Tableau, we have a semantic layer, but it is completely embedded into the whole experience. We're exposing that semantic layer as part of Tableau Next. So we're going to be talking a lot about semantic models. Metrics are the entities that are part of the semantic models. Those are the two main semantic entities that the agents afterwards will be leveraging. The other aspect, the other reason why I wanted to show this slide is how embedded the content can be embedded directly into the platform, but into any application, and also in Slack. So we'll take a look at that. But let's go and over each of those agents. And starting by Data Pro. Data Pro correspond to the agent that is going to help analysts take on some of those curation tasks that are costly, that are the ones that analysts are spending most time on. The first one is when we're talking about semantic modeling, so being able to get some automatic suggestions on how to join tables together, or also suggestions or take on the task of creating those calculations. So you'd be able to invoke those agents in order to take on those tasks, then describe in natural language what you'd want to do, and then the agent would create those calculations for you or do those join for you. There is always going to be a validation step, so making sure that these tasks are the ones that you do want to take on. And so as an analyst, you'll always be able to validate what the agent has done. On the upper left, you get, this is the timeline at which these agents are expected to come as part of Tableau Next. The next one is the automatic generation of a semantic model. Already today, when you upload a CSV file or any external data in Tableau Next, there will be an option to directly generate a semantic model so that you can, as quickly as possible, go to the point where you can analyze, create your charts. But we're also going to introduce a very intentional way of creating your semantic models so that depending on the intent, it will create the appropriate semantic model for you. Data preparation. So this slide contains two information. One is that there is a data preparation step that will be coming as part of Tableau Next. So today in Tableau Next, as you remember, you will have the data layer. We have a semantic layer in the data management aspect, but we're also going to introduce a data preparation step that will allow you to materialize those changes. Modeling doesn't materialize. This is what gives you this self-service experience, this very interactive experience. Data preparation does that materialization of these transformations in order to really optimize the execution time. Now, this step is going to come also with an agent that will help you take on some of those curation steps, so that the agent will be able to create those transformation on your behalf, depending on what you've asked for. So really an assistant as part of this step. And last but not least, so we've how to improve the data management aspects, the modeling aspects, and now the visualization. So as part of the visualization step, in natural language, you'll be able to ask for the creation of a specific chart, which can be helpful in case you don't necessarily know how to create that particular chart. But there's always the option to do that drag and drop, or now ask in natural language what to generate a specific chart. So those are the steps that will help the analysts do their curation. Now we're going to change gears and look at how some of those agents that are going to help the business users. And the first one is what we call concierge. It's a question and answer type of experience where a business user will have access to this question and answer experience in the context of where they work. So in this case, you can see this is a dashboard, and as part of this dashboard, the users, the business users, will be able to call up concierge, ask some relevant questions. Concierge may go back to and ask for further confirmation of the question in order to get to the proper context, and then provide an answer and a reasoning as to how they came up to that particular answer in order to give trust to the person asking the question. We'll go deeper into concierge. So this is why I'm quickly on to inspector. Inspector is more of a proactive notification agent, where as a business user, I can ask to be made aware of certain conditions. Show me if our pipeline is reaching a certain level, or is dropping, or if my inventory is dropping below a certain limit. So those are the type of notifications that you can ask Agentforce to take on. And once this is set, there is going to be a notification, but also where it becomes interesting is a reason why this notification happened. So a little bit more insight as to not just why it's reached that certain limit, but also get an understanding and potentially be able to start troubleshooting the issue. I wanted to show you how an agent works also, because it becomes because if we have that understanding, it also explains where analysts can start injecting more metadata to improve the relevance of the answers. So at first, it starts with a conversation. So typically, as part of concierge, you ask your agent for a specific question: how many active leads are in my pipeline? And this question is going to be, the agent is going to start putting in place a plan in order to answer the question. So this plan is going to be broken down in certain instructions, and each of those instructions will have the agent will look at all of the different actions they have at their disposition and break it down by these actions. And in our particular case, typically it could be grounding, understanding what is the data they have access to. So being able to do that relationship between the natural language question and the data they have access to, which is contained in which is being represented by our semantic model, and then generate the visualization, and afterwards recommend next steps. So those are the 3 steps typically that concierge would be taking on and executing before they generate the response. So as analysts go in, the semantic model is typically one of the area where you can have most impact in order to provide the best answer for the business user. So, but let's take a step back and look at how agents help analytics scales. I talked a lot about agent. I think what would be really interesting is to also understand the new world we're in, where business users have access to dashboard, but also new means of reaching out to their data. So instead of showing a dashboard in action, I'm going to show how, as a business user living in Slack, I have access to metrics. Will have access to dashboards, and I will be able to start collaborating around it, not only with other users, but also with an agent. So this is a metric that is, so you define your metrics in your semantic model, and this metric is a representation of what exists today in Tableau Next. So you see, it's a total sales cumulative, and someone, Harry, has just gotten an alert that the total sales are down by 30%. So the first thing that Harry does is sharing it with the group. You could also continue forwarding that message to the sales team or the sales lead, and in order to say to ask, hey, let's discuss about it in our next meeting. So you could send and forward the message that will take into account the metric and forward it to other people. Now, what is also interesting is you could take a look at a metric canvas. So this canvas is where you can add more metrics in a very easy way. The easiest way is you simply take the link to the metric and you could add it as a card. So I'm just showing you very quickly how you can do it. And this is going to be generated based on your personal profile. So every data that you see here is based on my profile in such a way that if someone else comes in and sees it, if they don't have the rights defined in Tableau Next, they potentially won't be able to see the data. So it really respects the policies that you've introduced at the data level. So this is another way of consuming the information, but I've shown you how you can start sharing the data with other people to get their insights, but there's also a way to start getting insights directly by invoking the agent. And I can start discussing and having a conversation with my agent, for instance, asking it to break it down by segments. And the agent will start analyzing the question that I've put in place and providing a rationale of how it came to the answer. But it's a way to show you how, in the context of this collaborative environment, I can start digging out for insights from other people, but also from an agent, and already getting the context of what the agent is going to provide. And so the analytic agent has provided me some insights. So it's the different breakdowns. It provided me also with a visualization of how it looks like. And this is also in the context of the conversation. So other people can come in and start looking at it. One last thing is just to show you, would be the experience. You can directly also go into Tableau Next, see that experience, and also look at the agent and continue the discussion here with the agent. So this is Tableau Next, in case you haven't seen it. This is the metrics experience, and you can also go and take a look at how you can build all these semantic models and all of this content directly in Tableau Next. I won't be talking about it right now. This is just to whet your appetite. Rather, I'm going to also give you a glimpse as to how we can help analysts ground better the agent. And this is really going to be a new responsibility for the analysts, who are going to be in charge of creating content, but also are going to be responsible for helping ground the agents, ground these questions around that business users will start asking in order to be able to provide better, more relevant answers. The first thing I want to talk to, and the first tool that you will have at your disposition to really tweak those agents, or the metadata that agents will be leveraging, is what we're going to call business preferences. And I really like this quote. When you think of an agent that is going to help answer those Q&As, think of them as a new analyst hire. They really don't understand what a company's unique logo, a lingo, or business rules are. Is MK the nickname of a person, or is it an acronym for for a specific product? So those are the type of questions that, if you don't give more context to the agent, they won't be able to answer. And I'm going to give you a bit more example. Find all locations of low pressure switches in stock. So the agent may not know necessarily that this is the column that means in stock. So providing the agent that context, that metadata, will help them provide the right answer. Same thing if we're talking about red accounts. What is a red account? It may mean that it's accounts that have a subscription, that a contract that terminates in a month. So those are the type of metadata, of business context, that you want to be able to provide to the agents, and they will be done via a business preference. You can have many business preference based on the semantic model. So those are going to be attached to a particular semantic model. You just add more business preferences so that you progressively give a bit more knowledge to the agents of how your company is functioning. So these business preferences, I'm going to give you a few. They can be categorized in 3 different ways. Interpretation: what does most sold product means, or largest or smallest account? You can really refine and be specific about it. It could be about outputs. When asking about sales data, always sort by account name, sorry. Or it could be about format. So there's going to be 3 different categories of business preference where you have a direct input on. All of these business preferences need to be accurate. And so there's going to be guardrails that will be put in place in order to ensure that, for instance, it would be better to create a calculated field rather than doing a business preference. Those are the type of guardrails that will be put in place in order to ensure that all of those business preferences are coherent, make sense in this semantic world, and really help you drive better adoption. Another way of adding more metadata or increasing the available metadata the agents will be looking into is this automatic description of entity fields. I remember talking to customer, and that person was saying that they barely add any description to the content that they've created. It's important, but it's quite time consuming. So let's leverage what LLMs offer in terms of summarization and provide that particular capabilities directly as part of the semantic model, so that you can have automatic descriptions of the different data tables, of the different entities, but also of the fields that you're defining as part of your semantic models. The benefit won't just be for agents, it's also going to be for the business users. Knowing what a product line is, or knowing what a product is about specifically, would be very useful wherever this information is being consumed. You'll have a way of identifying where there's missing description, and it's going to be part of a overall review of the semantic models in order to have them optimized for AI. So this is the next step, is we're going to add a way for you to validate or to score the readiness of a model for the agent performance. So there's going to be a score that is calculated based on the level of descriptions that you've added, based on the whether there's joins or not as part of the your model, or if you can create joins, and there's also going to be based on the business preferences whether or not you've added some. So some scoring of the model will be added, and in case the score is low, some suggestion on how to improve your model. So really trying to guide analysts in this new world where there's a task that needs to be done. The last piece is probably one of the most important, which is being able to, here we go, we're going back, being able to test the agent. And so testing the agent, it will be part of a concierge testing center, and it's going to follow that process. You're going to be able in that testing center to have a series of test questions and see the generated answers. If the generated answers are good, you're going to validate them. Those will be called the verified questions. And as you run further tests, these verified questions are going to help the agent ground themselves around these verified questions. The questions could be coming from you as the analyst, writing down the specific questions, checking that the answer is correct, or could be coming from feedback from business users. So every time a business user is asking a question in concierge, wherever it is, they will have an opportunity to thumbs up or thumbs down the answer. So all of those thumbs downs are the ones that are interested, because you want to be able to take them and see how you can improve the answers to those questions. So you'll have access to these thumbs down questions as part of the concierge testing center, and you'll be able to take actions from there in order to improve the answer. So what does that mean, to take action? This is how it would look like. So a question, this is a concierge. You can ask the question, answer, see the answer here. And you'll get also access to the reason why it wasn't a good answer. And finally, that calibration suggestion will help you know where it would be best to go in order to improve the answer, whether it's about creating a new business preference, whether it's about creating a new calculation, whether it's about adding a description or adding more data. You'll at least have some guidance as to how you could best improve the response of concierge. And once you take that action, you can rerun the question, validate that it is correct, and re-qualify the answer to that question. And now it becomes part of the test questions, that you can rerun in order to validate over time that the agent is providing correct answers. So we've seen 4 different tools that can help analysts better ground the agent. And I think I want to finish on this, I hope a positive note, is data is a team sport. And right now we've got a new person or a new thing that is going to contribute to that cycle between the business user, the data analyst, and the agent. And this new world is very interesting to me because we're going to have better interaction between the business users and the analysts. This is possible now. It happened in the past outside of the world of BI. In today's world, everything can be connected. So a data analyst can very quickly combine with the business user and vice versa. You can be made aware of it. And agents are going to contribute to it. So agents can take on some of the questions that the business user had generally with the data analyst. And the same way, data analyst with that free time can help better ground the agents to so that they can help answer, so they can help business users better understand their business. And vice versa, agents will be helping the data analysts with their curation tasks. So this is why this data is a team sport has never been so true in my mind, especially in this new agentic world. And I will hand it back to you, Will, unless there's any questions.
Thank you very much, Paul. I believe there's a few questions in the chat. Certainly the top question is like, can we get the slides afterwards? Is definitely like what I keep saying, Gowan, which is you can share those with us. We can pass them back over to the community. But yeah, a lot of interest in the, yeah, perfect. Thank you very much. I know a lot of interest in people wanting to get their hands on Tableau next, getting their ways of like learning about it. Yes, as Celia points out, there was a beta. I had a look. You could get Tableau Next with the like hackathon that was out. I'm not sure if that's still available, but so I'm hoping that we can find some way so people can start trying this out. We had a couple of questions earlier. I think we can answer about from Sharon about how does Agentforce connect or relate to Tableau Next? How does those two worlds sort of come together?
So Agentforce is our generic agent corresponding to all that is accessible across the Salesforce platform. And it is also accessible on top of Tableau Next. The thing is, we've added an action that is really specific to data analysis as part of Agentforce. So this is how the Agentforce is connected to Tableau Next. The data analysis is just a topic of Agentforce.
Okay, so very sort of specialized to what we're dealing with here. Yeah, because there's a lot more that you can get. Certainly, like a lot more information coming back. There was one more on Sharon about can you still connect to the same data sources like you would in Tableau?
So yes, so what I didn't show as part of this presentation is all of the more, I would say, the bread and butter of data analysis is how to connect to data, how to model it, visualize it. We've got the brand new authoring experience with our workspaces, which would be the evolution of a workbook. So all of this I haven't shown. And yes, you can connect. So the vision is to connect to all of the data sources that Tableau supports today. Where the latest that we're going to support is a zero copy with a Snowflake. But if you look at the list, we're already covering quite a big chunk of Tableau's data sources.
I think we've still got some questions coming through. Do you see any look good, Joy?
So those are in the Q&A. Oh, DMs, sorry.
Yeah, I find an interesting question with the person saying, is there a new beta with this level of data governance features?
I'm going to check what is possible. I know we have regular possibilities of getting your hands on Tableau Next. So let me get back to you, Will and Joy, on the steps that would need to be taken to get your hands on Tableau Next.
I see one from Melissa about asking how many people are currently like implementing Tableau Next at the moment. So I feel like there's a lot of people might be testing it. Do you know how many are like currently got it in working in production?
So we have quite a few that are in production. I don't know the exact numbers. It's still a young product, so it doesn't have the reach yet of Tableau, but we are starting to see some productive usage already as part of our deployments.
Okay. Another question is about like resources for public training. Does Tableau have like plans to have maybe like certifications or courses for public training for people that want to become specialists with Tableau Next?
So in Tableau Next, we are having a trailblazer, how is it called? A path, an official path for it. So that would be my first recommendation: is take this particular course in order to start being certified. I don't know if we have a specific certification label for Tableau Next. So that's something I don't know. I would need to check on it.
I think I've got one more question from Tricia, which is sort of like the ultimate question that we've all faced as a student: is what should I learn? Should I go and learn Tableau Next, or should I try and learn other? Familiarize myself with Tableau Next so I can stay up to the updates.
So it's a good question, and I think this brings to mind one of Andy Cotgreaves' answer, which is it depends. It depends on what you have access to. I think in both cases, whether you start learning on Tableau or on Tableau Next, you're going to start learning data analysis, and that's probably the most important piece, which is the steps won't change much. The product, there is going to be differences maybe in the product here and there, but you need to learn, if you want to start learning data analysis, I would say take on whatever tool that between Tableau or Tableau Next you have access to and get your hands on there. Going forwards, I'd say that you'll see what is most useful. If you're working with a customer that is deeply embedded in Salesforce, that probably Tableau Next would be the best way to go forward. If you're looking at a customer that already has Tableau, use Tableau.
Okay, that sound advice is like driving a car. You just like learning to drive a car. It doesn't matter which car you start with, as long as you start somewhere and then you can go on to the next one. If anybody's got any more questions, do add them to the chat. We'll try and get to those as time, but I'm conscious of time. We've got another speaker coming. So, also on the topic of training, I just wanted to share like a quick plug for Information Lab. We do have a free on-demand Tableau training session course that you could go through. This is done by legendary Chris Love. He's a Tableau Hall of Fame visionary. He's put together a series of videos walking through how you can go and build out a project in Tableau Next. I've been through the course. I found it very helpful for just that kind of muscle memory of where you go to find things and how you pull things together. And very much someone who has walked the Tableau path very much can tell it how you would do it in Tableau. So do go and check that one out if you're interested in some free training. Otherwise, let's get on with the show.
So our next speaker is Ojo, and Ojo will be talking to us about a couple of things. He's the founder of Data to Visuals, and he'll be sharing about AI applications in Tableau, asking questions in natural language, and using AI apps to create data and seek feedback. So Ojo, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Joy, Will, Rika, Adam, and everyone in the analytics team, AI team, for having me in the session. It has been a vision of mine to be speaking at this TUG. Truth be told, back in the days when I was applying to start a new TUG, we didn't have AI TUG at the time. I wrote to the team that can we have an AI TUG? And within a couple of days, the leadership team came back saying that, you know what, Adam's already working on that initiative and he's way ahead in the game of getting things put together. So too bad, I should have acted sooner. But this is the closest I could get to running the AI TUG, is to be speaking at the AI Tug. So thank you for having me. Without any more delay, let me share my screen and let me know if you can see. I promise there's not going to be much of reading from a deck rather than talking about a real-world application. A little about myself. Is my screen visible?
Yep.
Yes, we can see
through.
Thank you. So a little bit about myself. It's been an absolute pleasure to have started a new leadership team with the retail piece. We have a completely online retail tug, a user group that focuses on retail. We recently met. The recordings are yet to be uploaded, but that was the Japan Tug collab on Viz Tsukurima show. If you missed it, by all means, join us. We're meeting again in November. I'm a returning Tableau ambassador, thanks to your support. And I've mentored, this is my 1.5 years with Data Visualization Society, and I've completed 4 terms of mentoring. It has been an absolute learning experience working with those who are breaking into this space. Because I'm a big believer in community, and everything that I've done so far in the Tableau is from working with the community. Here is my shout out to them. Thank you. And also an interest that you should join the community, whether it's through community projects. Will runs his own data viz project, and there are several of them, Makeover Monday and what have you. The one that I started pretty recently along with Umar is BizViz 52. 52 because there are 52 weeks, and this is a weekly project. You can use any platform, any tool. The idea is to build visual dashboards. All right, so having plugged Retail Tug, BizViz 52, I want to talk about what I'm going to share today. I want to talk about how I use AI in my day-to-day. I want to talk about agentic AI in Tableau. And today's earlier session has been phenomenal. I've seen this a few times, and also followed from the TC 25 session. Fantastic. Pulse is a while now. I've used Pulse for a few of my clients, and one of them I have some clearance to show old data and how I've used it. And we'll go straight into the demo. All right. Will's here, so we'll talk about the Tableau Certified Data Analyst Exam GPT. It came to my, it was a fantastic tool to use, Will. So thank you, love, love, love. The thing about this GPT is you can ask, it can be your mock question paper when you're preparing to get your Tableau certification. I used it, and I know at the conference when I appeared for the certification to be a Tableau certified consultant, some of the questions were from it helped me prepare for it. And I sat through the exam really quickly because I had to run to the keynote, and I didn't want to miss the keynote. But I cleared the exam, and all thanks to this GPT. I highly recommend it. There are 3 other tools that I use pretty frequently. And let me switch to these 3. So we looked at the Tableau certification. You could use any other GPT model, but essentially these buttons will tell you how to use this tool. And the other 3 are Data Mockstar by Adam. This is one of the AI tools that I use pretty frequently. What happens is I build something fantastic for my client, but they don't want to share their NDA data with another potential client or for demo purposes. That is when this Data Mockstar by Adam comes in handy. and it's well documented. If you're coming in fresh, you could click on that button which tells you how to use this tool, much like, and then what it would spit out is give you a spreadsheet or a CSV file, which you could use then to build a dashboard in Tableau. And when I was speaking to a bunch of university students yesterday, there was a great question that came in that, say, for example, you've built something which you want to showcase to the world outside, but you have NDA for classified data. And that's the time when Data Mockstar comes in, right? I'd use Data Mockstar maybe once every month at the least, once every week at the most. The other AI tool, and I'm talking about AI in application, I'm just not talking about writing a fancy post or creating a fancy art for what have you or content. But if you are in the world of writing and creating content using AI, this is another tool by Adam. And thank you, Adam, because now I can write a piece, stick it in here, and ask this AI tool to write for me, right? But the minimum expectation is we have to write a 500 word. So in the day-to-day life of a data analyst, these are some of the tools that have come in handy, especially for me. And once I've built a dashboard, I'll go in and use this Dashboard Documentation Pro by Adam Miko. There is another tool by Anna, and I will stick it in if you're interested, where you can upload the document, the TWBX file, and it spits out like an ER diagram of the metadata, the fields used, and the definitions and what have you. So with these tools, for me, especially for me, documentation is the least glamorous part. By raise of hands in the chat, how many of you love documentation? Let me see. Right. I'm not a fan of documentation. So these are the tools that come in handy when I'm preparing for my presentation. Fantastic. Moving forward. No more reading from slides. What you're looking at is Tableau instance, and uploaded one of these. So here in Tableau Cloud, once I log in, I have this vehicle KPI. So let me give you a bit of context about this. When I go dial back and see the 3 years of data, this is not fresh data because my client wanted to make sure that I'm not showing something that shouldn't be shown. But essentially, this is a dashboard that I built for one of my clients. They are in supply chain logistics. And this data specifically is for the big trucks, the ones which you see, the Amazon 16-wheelers that go from their distribution center, from one of their distribution center, and manage the vehicle. Like, they're trying to manage their entire fleet optimization using this dashboard. So we have utilization of vehicle as a KPI, the entire fleet utilization, the fuel economy of those trucks, how much time the trucks are sitting in the bay. I don't know whether you are aware of a distribution center is like a massive storage place with many bays where these massive trucks with their load would come in and shunt and put their trucking, and then they would load or unload docks from those docks and bays. So these metrics are important for their day-to-day operation. So once we build this as a dashboard, this could be good for leadership. But when you have like a floor manager or distribution center leader who's trying to manage the shift, or even the shift managers, high up drivers who want to reallocate and resource on the fly, this dashboard wouldn't come in handy. That's when we need something like Pulse, where those Pulse metrics would be more real time, and they could see those metrics every 30 minutes to an hour, and the floor managers could manage it. Having said that context, how can I go from this dashboard, which is more like a daily dashboard or a weekly dashboard, and then on Pulse, how can I build a metric that can be on a smartphone, or it could be on a device, right? And that's where the application of Pulse comes in. When I'm trying to build Pulse metrics, let me take another example of, because I don't have current data, I won't be able to demo the Pulse metrics specific to the vehicle maintenance. But here is an overview of how it looks, the vehicle KPI the maintenance KPIs that we looked at from a Pulse standpoint. We just have 2 quarters, Q3 and Q4 of 2024. So this is old data, and there's nothing to break down over here. But I can talk about another real world scenario where LinkedIn, so most of us use LinkedIn, and I can use this data to build a quick demo for you rather quickly. Here, as I come to LinkedIn and I typically write regularly, so what happens is under the analytics, I can now track how my posts are doing from an impressions and an engagement standpoint. Right, so if I were to look at my impressions and look at a daily and not cumulative for the last 365 days, I can see a chart, something like that, right? Now, if I were to export this data, it would spit out a flat file, an Excel file, which I can then throw into Tableau. And this is just the beginnings of it. And then I can use this information, publish it. So if I were to open the downloaded data as a spreadsheet, we have engagement tab where we have dates, impressions, and engagements. 2 metrics, 1 time dimension. We have URLs to the top posts, early followers, which has a time dimension, and new followers every day. What I'm going to do, I'm going to take this data source into Tableau and model my engagement data, which has date and engagement, and tied down with just for demo purposes, right? And once this is there, use my granularity, like time dimension at the date granularity, continuous, bring in numbers, and I see a chart. This is just exploratory. Now, once I've done that, and I want to be on Pulse, I don't know why I would need that, but this is imagine this for a real business where you have this information to take informed decision. And the clients that I work with, the top leaders, or even the field people, they would want this in this time. Given that, I would here to Pulse try to define a new metric. So this is the data source that I've uploaded to cloud. I'll connect to that. So that's one of the ingredients. You need a data source. Then let's name this as LinkedIn, if I can spell correctly. The other field that we need, mandatory, is a measure. Let's look at the engagements, some of that, and non-cumulative, and post URL. That's the one adjustable metric we have, and then click on next. Oh, we need oh, I missed the time dimension. We have to have date as one of the time dimensions, and when I do that, it spits out something like this. Here, I can choose the minimum time granularity. I can say, show me monthly. And now what you see here is the monthly trend. If you did want to validate this, I could go make this into a monthly continuous. And here are my engagements that pretty much do not need my Tableau dashboard anymore. Have this published, drill in, and look at my pulse metrics. So this is how I could enable my leadership to, or even my team, to look at some of the metrics in Pulse on your smartphone device once you download the app on your smart device. This is a no-brainer. Within a couple of clicks, I could go from raw data to insights. And with the other features that we saw earlier, we can go from this information and then be in the flow of work. Unfortunately, I do not have Tableau Next enabled on me for a demo. So, or else I could have done a deeper dive into how to go from this into an actual action, as we had seen in some of the demos from Tableau earlier. Pretty much with that, I want to open up the floor for questions. If you have anything for me, feel free to ask.
Thank you so much for the lovely presentation, Ojo. I'm sure we had a lot of people learn from this. So if we have any questions, please send it in the chat so Ojo can take your questions.
I don't know, I might have put the people to sleep.
No, I don't think so. I think everything was really clear and everybody had a good understanding. So I think that's what happened. So you're a very great teacher. So thank you.
Thank you very much for everyone for coming along. Obviously, there's plenty more coming in the future, plenty more events coming up. We have got other plans in the work for future user group talk, but interested to hear your feedback, your interests of what you want to see next. Certainly, we'll take that all on board. So obviously, but if you're new here, welcome to the community. It's been great to have you, and we hope to see you next time.
See you, everyone.
Bye.